Hello friends, today I'm going to show you 12 of my favorite toy cameras. Today is World Toy Camera Day. It is celebrated on the third Sunday in October each year. So for this year, 2024, it's celebrated on Sunday, the 20th of October. And in celebration of this glorious day, I'm going to show you some of my favorite toy cameras. Now it all started a few years ago for me. I was in a shopping center and there was like a bookseller selling cheap $5 books. And in the pile of books was this book here, Toy Cameras, Creative Photos by Kevin Meredith. Of course, Kevin Meredith is also known by the nickname Lomo Kev. And yeah, he was quite a well-known photographer in the early 2000s who shot a lot with lomography cameras and stuff like that. So, kudos to Kevin for putting this book together. It is absolutely fantastic. And what I found over the years is I kind of got this book and flicked through it when I first got it and then sort of forgot about it, put it on the bookshelf. And then about 2 years after I bought it, I actually looked back through it and realized I'd bought maybe a third of the cameras that I'd read about in this book. So it had this kind of subconscious sort of effect on me where I thought about these cameras and saw them on eBay and ended up buying them. And now here in 2024, I reckon I've got about 45% of the cameras listed in the book. I have no plans to complete the entire collection because some of them are very expensive these days. But hey, I'm always looking for more new cute toy cameras. But let's start with my favorite 12 that I have at the moment. Now, all of the cameras I'm going to show you today take 35mm film. However, this first camera, well, you could say that it also is a medium format shooter. Yes, it is the Nestle Mio Cow Camera. How cool is this? I've wanted this for about 5 years when I first saw it. So this is a camera that was originally marketed by Nestle. Nestle have lots of different brands, and one of them was their Mio yogurt brand. And yeah, they gave this as a marketing giveaway probably about 20 years ago, I think. I'm guessing that the idea was you collected loads of little coupons from yogurt packs. You sent them into Nestle and they would send you a camera for free. And this is it here, Mio the cow. How cool is this? Now you might be a bit confused. You may be looking at all the fruit on the front of the cow and go, why has this poor cow got fruit all over it? Well, of course, it's referencing the flavors of yogurt that came in the Nestle Mio range. One came up in Australia and I got this for around $40 US, and I'm so happy. I've got a roll of Ultramax in there at the moment and I've been taking some photos around my local hood around Cleveland. So I'm really looking forward to getting this roll of film to my lab and seeing what kind of shots Mio the cow produces. Next up, we have the Shironeko Holga. Now, Holga, of course, is a name synonymous with toy cameras, but with medium format toy cameras. Well, Holga also produced this range of very cute cameras called the Shironeko Holga. It's also known as the Kitty Nyanya camera, the Kitty Nyanya. Now, as you can see from the front of this camera, it has a very distinct design. It looks like a cat. There's a very good reason for that. That's because this camera was produced to take pictures of your pet cat. Now the idea is that you go up to your cat, you aim the camera at them, and then you press this button. And what cat could resist looking at those lights and noises? I'm sure no cats could. I haven't got a cat here at home, so I couldn't test it out with a cat. I have used it on my dog Marshall. The first couple of times he does look and respond to it, like what is going on, what is that? After the third or fourth time, he just kind of gets annoyed. Now again, I haven't actually got any pictures back from this yet. There's a roll of film in there. I must finish that off soon. Now in the book by Kevin Meredith, he actually says that this camera is pretty good because it'll take a nice sort of sharp photo of your cat quite close, and the rest is nice and blurred and background looks really cool. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting some photos back and seeing if I can sort of match that look from the example photos you see in the book. Next up is one of the cameras that started off this toy camera craze for me. It is the Robot 3, also known as the Disderi robot. I love these little cameras. The cameras were produced by a Hong Kong company called Fujifilm in the early 2000s. So on each frame of 35mm film, you get a combination of these 3 photos all put together by these 3 lenses here on the front. It gives super unique results. I love this camera. The camera is very simple. There's no ISO control. There's only one shutter speed and one aperture. There's no traditional viewfinder, although there is this, a sports viewfinder on the front which is pretty useless. So I just sort of, usually just freestyle it and take pictures, and that way you get that real kind of low-mo look to the pictures where you're not sure exactly how you're framing things. But I love this camera. It is super cool and one of my all-time favorites. I've featured pictures from this camera in my zine every summer, and if you want to see more pictures and a review of the camera, make sure you check out my review on mattlovescameras.com. I'll put a link in the video description. Now, a friend of mine, Matthew Joseph, he said to me he'd been trying to look for one for ages. I actually sent him one of mine. I sort of got a collection of them together. I got 3. He was so grateful that I sent him the Robot 3 camera. Even if he was a little bit underwhelmed by the results that he got, he actually sent me a return gift in the mail. He sent me this. This is a Fanta Camera. It looks exactly like, well, very similar to a can of Fanta, but it is a camera. How cool is this? Sort of pull it up out here. How you can do it? There you go. And there is a viewfinder there. Some models have a flash here, but mine doesn't. And yeah, there you go. That you've got a can of Fanta that takes pictures. And the way that you wind it on is on the side here on the top of the camera. It is super cool. Again, this has no film speed selector, single aperture, single shutter speed. And in preparation for this video, I actually had a look at the images I took with this. I've only shot one roll with it, and wow, they actually blew me away. It has this beautiful soft painterly rendering to the pictures, which I just love. And look at these images here. I took some of these in southern Queensland. I just love these images, and they have such a beautiful soft look. It's really inspired me to take the Fanta camera out again and shoot some more pictures with it. So I'll be doing that very soon. And once again, thank you to Matthew for the wonderful gift. I love it. And I'm a little bit sad though that you don't love the Robot as much as I love the Fanta. My next camera is one of my more recent acquisitions. This is Pingo, the penguin camera. This was given away with, I think, chocolates in some kind of promotion about 20 years ago. And yeah, it's an obvious ripoff of Pingu, but of course on the front, to avoid any intellectual property issues, it says Pingo. So the penguin camera is very cute. It's got this beautiful little red and white hat on here, and he's kind of lying down, chilling. He's got some lovely sort of penguin feet here on the end. So again, single aperture, single shutter speed. I've just realized I've actually got a roll of film in there. I've got so many rolls of film in cameras, it's unbelievable. Overall, the pictures from the penguin camera are okay. They've got a very kind of soft look to the entire frame. I do like it, and I am itching to finish that roll in the penguin camera. Next up, I have arguably the ugliest camera in my list of 12 toy cameras today. Sorry, little fella. It is the Nickelodeon PhotoBlaster. Of course, Nickelodeon is a TV channel, lots of kids shows from Nickelodeon stable. And this camera came out in the early 2000s, I believe. And yeah, look at this. This is just, it looks like Homer Simpson designed it. It's very, very unusual looking with lots of bright, garish colors. And of course, you have this sort of green slime here that Nickelodeon was known for on the grip. It's got a nice red shutter button on top. And when you open up the front here, it's actually got 2 lenses, which is a bit curious because you might be thinking, oh, it takes 2 images at the same time. No, it doesn't. It takes 1 image at a time, and on each frame of 35mm film, it takes 4 photos. So to fill up 1 frame of 35mm film, you press the shutter button, it takes an image with the top lens, wind it on. You press the shutter again, it takes one with the bottom lens, wind it on again, it takes it with the top, takes it with the bottom. So 4 photos on each frame of 35mm film, but they're all different photos. They're not like, it's not like a rapid action sampler kind of camera. If you're enjoying this video, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below. I'd also love it if you subscribe to one of my Substack newsletters. mattlovescameras.substack.com has a lot of pictures taken on film and digital compact cameras with a lot of travel photography. And japanpics.substack.com is 100% Japan travel photography. Next up in my list is another cat-themed camera. This one is the Hello Kitty Superheads Power Shovel Golden Half. Of course, Power Shovel Superheads were a company, a Japanese company in the early 2000s that produced a number of very cool cameras, including this half-frame shooter, the Golden Half. This one is the Hello Kitty version, although as you can see, I've dropped it a few times, and poor old Hello Kitty, the decal there is sort of getting faded and scratched, unfortunately. I really love this camera because it is so small and tiny. I've just realized I have a roll of film in this one as well. So many unfinished rolls in this room. I don't know what I'm doing. I need to finish them all off and send them to the lab. But this is a really cool shooter. Again, I took a roll of film with this when I first got it, and here you can see there are some pictures of my kids. They are so little. This is like 6 years ago when I first got this camera, and yeah, I really love how you've got these sort of diptychs here. You've got 2 images on each frame, and this one here of my kids together on the swings, you know, sort of upside down, and yeah, I really love that picture, even though it's kind of grainy and it's kind of, the focus isn't great, you know, it's a fixed focus camera. I really love that. And of course, as with other half frame cameras, you can do these diptychs. So there's some cows here and some sunflowers, sort of scenes of outback Queensland. Really love those. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to finishing this roll and seeing what my next lot of diptychs look like. Now, Power Shovel also did an interesting project with the Golden Half camera. They gave it to, I think it was 12 models in Japan, and they told them to go take loads of photos with the Golden Half. And this was the result, Life as a Golden Half. This is a Japanese photo book, Life as a Golden Half, and there's just images in here of these Japanese models using the cameras throughout their daily life. Quite a number of the shots though, they do look like they've been taken with a flash. So that is one thing that the Golden Half has. It does have a hot shoe on the side of the camera. So yeah, if you want to put a flash on there, I mean the flash is probably going to be bigger than the camera, but you can do that and have a lot of fun. Coming in at number 8, of course, I've got to choose the Oktomat for number 8. This camera has 8 lenses, and each time you press the shutter button, you get 8 images on a single frame of 35mm film. Now, the problem with these cameras is they've got like a plastic film advance here. They are very sort of brittle, and a lot of them are broken these days, unfortunately. So getting a working copy of this camera is pretty tricky. I do really like the results. To be honest, I don't shoot with it very often because it is brittle. I don't want to break it, and it is super cool though. I love having it on my shelf. We're going to continue the theme of multi-lens cameras with this one. This is probably the most expensive toy camera I own. This is the Fujifilm RC Cardia. This one has 16 lenses, and each time you press the shutter button, you get 8 shots on a single frame of 35mm film. But what's cool is you expose 2 frames at the same time. So yes, this camera exposes 2 frames of 35mm film at the same time, 16 shots. Isn't that cool? Now, originally this was pretty much pitched at golfers. You can see on the top here, the shutter button looks and feels like a golf ball. And on the front there's also an image of a golfer as well. Now with this camera, you do have the choice of 2 different shutter speeds. So you can sort of choose how fast you want those exposures to fire off, which is pretty cool. There is also another mode where you can shoot 16 different scenes on the 2 frames of 35mm film. So here's an example where I went around and shot 1 shot at a time instead of doing that really fast shooting of an action scene. Now, of course, if you're taking 16 shots in a row, you can combine them together and do an animated GIF. And here is one I did earlier at Wynnum at the seaside in Brisbane. I really love this. Yet another multi-lens camera in my toy camera collection, which I love, is the Lomography SuperSampler. This is a wonderful toy camera with 4 lenses. Each time you press that shutter, you get 4 panoramic images on 1 frame of 35mm film. I love this little camera. I recently did a full review here on Matt Loves Cameras YouTube, so make sure you check that out. And here's a couple of shots I took in Indonesia on holiday recently. Really love this camera. It is super cool. Probably the most unique feature about the camera is the drawstring film advance. So you've got to be a little bit careful. Lomography cameras can be a little bit delicate, but each time after you take the picture and you want to advance the film, you pull out this drawstring and the film advances. Super cool. Second last camera to show you is one that my daughter bought me for my birthday one year. It is the Macys Kermit camera. This is a simple, very light plastic camera featuring the lovely styles of Kermit the Frog on the front there. And of course, you know, we like to watch the Muppets movie, and my daughter thought, wouldn't it be wonderful if I bought my dad, with my dad's money, a Kermit the Frog camera from America. Unfortunately, the shipping was probably about as much as the Kermit camera, but still, it's the thought that counts. And yeah, it was very lovely of her to want to buy this for me. Now, originally from Macy's department store, this camera was from, and you bought the camera with a Kermit the Frog, and you got the camera as well. The camera gives pretty good results. For a toy camera, the images are nice and sharp, and it's certainly capable of getting some good results. Look at these images here, full of color, nice and sharp, and there's a bit of vignetting going on there as well. So yeah, I really do like Kermit, and I'm looking forward to shooting my next roll. And the last camera I'm going to show you today is this one. What a beauty. This is the Blackbird Fly camera made by Superheads in Japan. Superheads brought out so many cool cameras, and this is arguably the best one they produced. It is a fake TLR, it looks like a TLR, and you look down through the viewfinder there to frame your shot. It takes 35mm film, although for reasons I won't explain in this video, it is not technically a TLR, even though it looks like one. Now the wonderful thing is it comes with different masks, so what you can do is if you take those masks out the back of the camera, you can actually expose the sprockets, which is super cool. And here's a few images I did earlier of my kids, again very young, the kids here, this is probably 6 or 7 years ago. This was one of the first toy cameras I was inspired to buy after picking up that copy of Kevin Meredith's Toy Cameras Creative Photos book. So there you go, there are my 12 favorite toy cameras. What did you think? I would love to hear your thoughts. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Let me know which is your favorite camera and which photos you liked the best. So I hope if you're a toy camera nerd like me, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you are, please leave a comment and tell me what your favorite toy camera is of all time. And if you've never shot a toy camera before, this is your opportunity. Try and grab a toy camera, something with simple controls, something that really is very limiting for you as a photographer. And that way you are able to sort of channel your creativity and create really cool, interesting photos, even though you have very little control. That's why I love toy cameras. That's why I love photography. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.